Good evening. Good evening. Welcome to Detroit in Black and White, our Friday evenings edition. Actually, this is the Friday after Thanksgiving holiday and or Indigenous people holiday. Today we have Eastside Allan Lengel, Deadline Detroit, Washington Post. And we also have Mr. Jim Nardone, the former chief of police for the Trenton Police Department. And you have myself, Vanessa Moss. Good evening, everybody. Good evening. So
Hey, Dwayne.
before we
Sorry.
start, I just want to give a shout out to everybody that is watching Detroit in Black and White today. If you're watching, you already know what we want you to do. We want you to tell your friends about the greatest show on these YouTube streets. You could join us on all social media platforms. We want you to hit that like button, subscribe, and share. And we want you to join in on the comments. Detroit in Black and White. Good evening, Karen Winston. Good evening, Dewayla Boyce. And Alan and Jim are going to be reading the comments today. I'm going to sit back in the cut. Okay. All right. So, where do we start? You want to start with Alan or Jim or myself? Because I do have something I want to talk about. I
Go,
missed one,
go
two,
for it. Go for it.
13. So, something I didn't bring up the other day, and actually it was a whole lot. And last week I didn't bring up about the lady that got beat up in Chicago, but this whole Campbell soup controversy. Are you guys familiar with the Campbell soup controversy?
Yeah, I read a headline. I really didn't. I
Okay.
don't really dive
Um,
into it.
the Campbell soup exec was secretly recorded claiming soup contains 3D printed meat, but he was also making a whole lot of racist comments. And so he recently has been, I always say when people leave their jobs, he was invited to leave. And of course, people are outraged that he was making these racist comments. They're really outraged that he claiming that the soup contains 3D printed meat. Um, right, and so um, the reason I want to talk about is because a lot of people who cook, they use certain ingredients to enhance whatever they're preparing. Say, for instance, for um, the meal that people prepared yesterday, a lot of people, especially those who make dressing, not stuffing, they will use Campbell's soup as a base, either the chicken soup, the cream of chicken soup, or the cream of celery soup. And so I wonder, because there's been such an outrage, it's been on the news for the last 3 or 4 days. I wonder how much of an impact it's going to have on Campbell soup. Because realistically, you don't have to buy Campbell soup. You can buy whatever store brand there is. You can buy Myers cream of chicken, or cream of mushroom, or cream of celery soup, or Kroger brand, or whatever the other grocery store is. Cream of chicken soup. Absolutely, Janet. Um, but you guys aren't familiar with it, but I thought maybe we could kick it and talk about it, but you guys aren't familiar with it. So maybe y'all talk about it tomorrow.
So what? So what? How did this all come about? What did you
There
know?
was some kind of, so he was secretly recorded making all these disparaging comments. And so somebody leaked the recording of him talking. And this is the thing. I'm sorry, moving things around. Uh, we have to be very careful about what we say. We may think that we're talking among a select group of people, but one, you can't trust that, and two, you're always going to have some kind of as I say, you're always going to have some kind of opposition, and when you're making comments that's not cool at all, people are going to be outraged about it. Now, I personally, I'd rather know who you are and how you feel about me as a woman, as a black woman, as a mother, as a person of society, as I'd rather know how you feel about me. So I don't mind you being outspoken about how you really feel. I want to know how you really feel. I don't like people hiding behind, shades, as I would say, hiding behind shades. So, yeah. So I just want to bring that up. I had a couple of other stories that I want to talk about. I gotta go look. I text them to myself. So I will ask you a question, Alan. And we got an interesting text message today about a story that you did in Deadline Detroit. What story is that?
Say that again. You have a question about what?
You had a story in Deadline Detroit. We all got a text message, and they said that it was a really good story in Deadline Detroit. I looked at Deadline Detroit today, and I didn't know what it was. That everything that you write in Deadline
General
Detroit.
Motors, or I mean,
I think it was the article about the dirt. Because I had to
Oh,
go back. It wasn't on the front of the page.
it wasn't a okay.
Allan's doing so much writing that it got pushed back a
Right.
little bit, so I had to seek
Right.
it out tonight.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't see. I looked at Deadline Detroit today, but I didn't see the. Is it the story that we talked about the other day about the
Yeah.
dirt? It was the headline that we talked about. Okay, so it was no, but you did write a story about General Motors. Well, let's talk about that.
Eric Starkman, who's a columnist, contributor, who's been writing a lot about General Motors and Ford. He wrote a story about General Motors. They had some type of point system where you could, like some kind of thing where if you were a customer or whatever, you could get these sort of bonus points, like you get on your credit card. You can buy things like hotel rooms and airline tickets and stuff. So General Motors created this thing where they would send you a link, or maybe they want you to take a survey and they give you 20 bonus points, or they want you to look at something and they'll give you another 20. So it ended up there were no guardrails for that. So people started scamming the system, getting their relatives to do things. And one guy was able to accumulate, and you can use some of those points to pay off your car loans and stuff. And one person was able to get around everything, and he was able to pay off his car loan, like a $56,000 car loan on a Cadillac Escalade, somewhere around there. And so the point of the article was that GM is really sort of fancying itself as a technology company. And the point he was making in the column was that here's a technology company that's supposed to be, they have a bunch. GM is more decentralized than Ford. Ford has a huge headquarters over in Dearborn, and GM has a lot of people in Silicon Valley and in Seattle and all spread around like that. And so what he was saying is you have the top-notch people that you're having to go and let them live in Silicon Valley, and they're producing these products that are not very good, that are, there's not a lot of safety proofs or whatever on the system. So it's kind of an interesting thing, but people started learning how to scam GM, and they were getting a lot of money. They were getting a lot of points. I think so many points was equal to $1. And like I said, this one guy paid off his Cadillac Escalade with all the points that he kind of figured out.
I remember back in the day, because my grandfather worked at General Motors, so did my grandmother. And then I'm trying to think of who worked at Ford. But anyway, if you wanted to buy a car or something like that, they could, first it was just for employees. Then it was family and friends. Yeah. And even if you didn't have a family or friend, I recall people going to to purchase a vehicle, and they say, you don't know anybody, just find somebody, and they'll say that you're a relative. So I just think the system was designed to be scammed. I'm not trying to be funny, but I just think that it was designed that way because there were no guardrails, and I don't know if there ever was any guardrails. And as far as I'm concerned, as much as they charge for these vehicles, I think it's ridiculous.
Well,
I
mean, the problem is, I don't know what the profit is on each car. I mean, we used to go to car dealers and say, oh, give us the best deal. And they'd say, oh, this is a great deal. You're getting a great deal. But we never really knew what the cost was of the car and what the profit was. Particularly used cars. I mean, that's where it's crazy time.
Yeah.
Where used car dealer. I mean, I had a classmate from Oak Park High. He went to Michigan State. And he was in college. He was a used car salesman, and he told me it was really, he was really over, making a lot of money ripping off people, basically.
Was he ripping off people, or is that just the name of the game?
Well, he was charging more. He was getting more than he knew they could have bargained a lot more with him, but they didn't. I think a lot of people go into a place and they say, hey, people don't realize, I mean, even when you go to your dentist or something like that, I mean, when I had I'm still working on my implants, I just told my dentist in Southfield, I said, look, you got to give it to me for cheaper than this. I mean, the whole bill for two with everything was
You said
like,
you got to give it to me?
well, I just said, well, it was $14,000 they wanted. And then, you know, the implants itself were $7,000. I went to Windsor to a periodontist, a friend in Windsor whose dentist recommended a periodontist, paying $3,500. So I think I think we think particularly medically and dental wise, when we get a price, we just assume that's it. When particularly dental, you can shop around. There's a variation between a dentist in Dearborn and a dentist in Grosse Pointe and a dentist
or dentist in Southwest Detroit. Listen, I'm going to keep it 100. I'm talk about two things. And then, Jim, you need to get in there. One, when I go and buy a vehicle, I always go in there knowing that, you know, they're going to get over on me because I'm a woman, right? And I don't know anything, you know, is it a V8 or a 6.8? All I know is a beautiful vehicle. I like it, has all the bells and whistles. So I know that I'm probably going to be overcharged for a vehicle. But to your point about dental work, I mean, people do shop around. I used to go to a dentist's office in Southfield, but because I was self-employed, a self-employed attorney. Listen, I couldn't afford to pay all of that. But of course, when you're talking, you want to have a nice, pretty smile, right? You're talking about people. So I started going to dentists in Southwest Detroit. The price is cheaper, much cheaper than
good
than it
dentist,
was me going to a dentist in Southfield.
right?
Jim?
Good dentist.
Yeah, absolutely.
Is
Actually,
that
where I go, the owner of the dentist office, his niece and I are friends because we went to law school together. So she's a colleague, and
okay.
so I was able to get get hooked up, and I started going there. Jim?
Let me say real quick about that. When I was in DC, I just got there and I lived on a street on Connecticut Avenue. It was high-rise apartments. There were 2 blocks away. There was a dentist in one of the high rises. I went there and he filled one cavity and I was in pain for like 3 weeks. He was kind of a nervous guy and they called me back, said, hey, you want to come back, finish the other work? And I'm like, yeah, I'll get back to you. But so sorry, Jim. Go ahead.
Oh, you're good. I'll start with some of our viewers, our friends out here that are here dedicated. We're dedicated to the show and we're dedicated to you guys too. Duela, good evening to you. Karen Winston, our good friend. Mr. 1213, Janet Overall, always helping us out and helping the show out. Annie Lewis, 6586, good evening to you. Again, Janet Overall, good evening. Dahomey, 1721. I'm just going to start with this, Dahomey. I can't even get the damn names right, so I don't know what you're trying to tell us. I appreciate it, but is that South Carolina?
I think that's Portuguese that he's saying.
I think it might be the Gucci.
Yeah.
What is it called that in South Carolina? Greetings to Jan, 6179. I saw Jan this morning at the gym. Cream of chicken soup. Miss Sheila, sometimes the dimmers allow you to see what you don't want to be seen.
Mm-hmm. That's in response to me talking about the guy, the CEO for Campbell's.
Well, I want to talk about that, but I want to finish the comments. I want to come back around. Internal combustion engine was succeeded because of massive public investment on infrastructure. It wasn't market forces, I should say. You don't like my music. We're glad you're tuning in from the other side of that bridge. Anthony 9947 smiling. We see you smiling. If you want to convert to electric, it takes a huge effort. Miss Sheila, Miss Vanessa said what she said. Dahomey, I DoorDash, that's all I see. Thank you. The Green New Deal included all of this. You don't like my music. Use car salespeople have a lot of room to charge too much, Miss Sheila. Remember that Trump has spent you don't like my music has beat you to Trump, Allan. Trump has so far spent at least twice as much as the Green New Deal may have cost, would have cost. Americans are being robbed. You don't like my music. Good evening, Eric Brown. Good to see you, Eric. Would you put the address in the comments? I'm pissed with my dentist. Well, I just got a new dentist myself, and boy, is he expensive, but he's good. Good evening, Tamika Rainey. Good to see you. You don't like my music? Love from Toronto. How was everyone's Thanksgiving? I had a good one. Thanks for asking, Tamika. Hope yours was good. Good evening to Dorian, our old friend Dorian, 5846. Geech is a language in South Carolina. Absolutely. Yes, we got you there, Eric. Thanks. And good evening, Felicia Dean. Glad you're tuned in tonight. I want to talk about something you said earlier about the Campbell Soup guy. And we had that comment about it. I'm going back. Trying.
While you going back, I'm
Miss
gonna
Sheila.
look
Miss
up.
Sheila. Here's the thing. If you listen to people, they will tell you who they are. They are who they are, and they will tell you who they are if you just pay attention, right? I have conversations with people all the time, and I walk away, and 3 hours later, in the back of my head, I said, did that person really just say that to me? Because they told me who they were. And people will tell you who they are. That's really unfortunate because it's a bigger story. I did read a little bit about it now that you mentioned it, but this guy's a sleaze bag, right?
Absolutely, a sleaze bag. And uh, listen, like I said, people don't even have to buy Campbell soup. You have other alternatives, but I will say, if you were to come to my place and look in my cabinet, you will see Campbell soup. I buy the cream of celery, and I also do the cream of chicken, because sometimes when I'm making, say for instance, this weekend I plan on making. I didn't cook for Thursday, but I plan on making. I'm thinking that I'm going to make uh, chicken pot pies. And so I will use the soup as part of my base for the chicken pot pie. But, of course, since I've seen that, um, I'm like, I don't know if I want to support the company. But here's the thing. A lot of times we can say, hey, I'm not buying this anymore because this person feels this way or whatever. To be honest with you, we'd be walking around with no clothes on, getting no dental work, not wearing glasses, not getting our hair done, because a lot of these people, there are a lot of people who have uh, prejudices, biases, so on and so forth. But there are also a lot of people that are good people. So,
Should we take a break? And then I'm going to get to my,
yeah,
that's not
absolutely.
an outrage, but my subject of the evening. If
Yeah,
we could.
let's take a break.
Hi, I'm Eric Sabri, your Wayne County Treasurer. Are you living in the home of a deceased family member and you're facing property tax foreclosure? Or maybe you know someone who's in the same situation. The probate process may be helpful to you. If you file a probate petition and notify our office, the foreclosure proceedings will be halted during the probate process. We have several nonprofit partners who have free attorneys who can assist you. Contact our office, 313-224-5990, or email us at taxinfo@waynecounty.com. Don't lose your family property. Some of these properties have been in the family for 4 or 5 generations. Contact us now. We're here to help.
We're back, Detroit in Black and White, our Friday evenings edition. This is the Friday after Indigenous Peoples Day or Thanksgiving holiday. And you know what, Jim, after you talk about what you want to talk about, I do want to give a little commentary about yesterday.
I can wait. Go ahead.
Okay, so, you know, we grew up, and I'm going to say we, Allan, Jim, myself, as well as Adolph, we grew up and we knew Thanksgiving to be Thanksgiving holiday, right? Turkey, corn, show Indians and all that. Yeah, but I didn't say I wasn't going to use it, Eric. But anyway, I already have it. I'm talking about moving forward. So, um, So I noticed that, within the last few years, people will not say Thanksgiving. I know a lot of people don't even celebrate Thanksgiving holiday. And I sat and I thought about it. I said, you know what? People take things just to me a bit far. For me, and I don't know how you guys feel about it, but for me, Thanksgiving was always a time, first of all, it's time where people are off work. We're not given time to be off work often. So people are able to be off work. Kids are out of school. So it's a time where families are able to come together. And when we say Thanksgiving, I know in my family it was always a tradition. It wasn't about the pilgrims or anything like that. It was about family coming together and being thankful for the things that they have in life. And I'm not talking about material things. The fact that you have family members, the fact that you have love, the fact that you have the gift of life, the fact that you have, shelter, the fact that, you know, things may be bad, but they could be, they could be worse. And so I just found it very interesting listening to conversations over the last few days. When I went out, well, I don't celebrate Thanksgiving. And by the way, my oldest son is one of those people who I don't celebrate Thanksgiving. I'm like, we never set up and talked about, not in our family, pilgrims and all of that for Thanksgiving holiday. I don't know what you guys do, but I'm just saying, how do you guys feel about it?
I'll say something interesting. About a few years ago, shortly before Thanksgiving, I went up to Ann Arbor. A friend of mine from DC, who was a documentary filmmaker, was working with a group of Native Americans back here, including a professor at the University of Michigan, Native American, and they did a film on all these sports teams who were trying to get rid of the logo, the Washington Redskins, the Cleveland Indians. And it was a great documentary. We watched it. And so afterwards, there was a discussion by one of the professors who's Native American. And she says, as long as my kids live under my roof, we will never celebrate Thanksgiving. It's, the settlers or whatever killed the Indians and all that kind of stuff, and we're not going to celebrate. So it's kind of interesting. And ironically, right while I was sitting there, my cousin is texting me, giving me the time of the Thanksgiving dinner coming up. So I think we've sort of glamorized what that's all about, Thanksgiving. But to some of the Native Americans, they see it as really just not a cool holiday. But anyways, but we celebrate in traditional ways.
What do
my
you
whole
say?
life,
People should do whatever they feel comfortable doing. If they don't want to, if they believe that, like, you don't like my music, Thanksgiving should be a holiday that recognizes indigenous rights. People need to recognize whatever they want. But I agree with you, Vanessa, that it was the fiction, I guess I'll go there, that, the pilgrims, who were called pilgrims, and the Native Americans got together and they shared a meal, and, they were, one with each other. And we know that that's just not accurate, right? Everybody knows that's not accurate. However, it's more of the myth of Thanksgiving that brings people together, and there's nothing wrong with that either. I just want to touch on G Money. Hollywood's talking about the corporate. It's interesting. He talks about the Campbell Soup. The corporation fired him, but he'll get hired by somebody else a year later. It won't take a year, because they go from Home Depot to Ford to Campbell Soup to Microsoft. And you're absolutely right. It's part of that network. And I don't know about you, G Money Hollywood, but I'm not part of that network, and I'll never be part of that network. I want to talk just briefly, if I could, about something that happened this week, because I think it's relevant. It's tragic, and it's relevant for all the reasons. I think we need to honor a young lady. Her name is Sarah Beckstrom. She was a West Virginia National Guard member who was murdered in Washington, D.C. I don't want to talk about who murdered her. I want to talk about everything else. All right. It's a tragic case. I want to pay tribute to Sarah Beckstrom from West Virginia, and Air Force Staff Sergeant Andrew Wolf, who is also 24, is also fighting for his life right now. I don't want to get into all the politics.
He was 20. He was 24.
Right. She was 20. He was 24. My point is this. We all have to be responsible for what we tell other human beings. That's where some of these things start. The man that killed this young lady and also wounded this young man, he is responsible for his own actions. Stephen A. Smith had a really good story about it. He tore into the president, and then he tore into the 6
Stephen
people.
A. Smith did?
Bad, really bad.
That's shocking.
Really great story. If anybody out there watching gets an opportunity, take the time to watch Stephen A. Smith's little segment on this. A little long. That's why I didn't cut it out and try and put it on the show. But he also attacked the two senators, mostly Mark Kelly, for stepping out of bounds. I don't even want to get into that. What I want to say is this 20-year-old lady probably didn't care about Mark Kelly or Donald Trump or anybody else. She was just a young lady trying to get on with her life.
Right.
She wanted to be a military police officer, hoping to get in law enforcement. Now she's gone. So we all need to be responsible. People that are making comments, us, it's tragic that people listen and they carry out crimes or kill people, whether it's Charlie Kirk or the shoot at the attempted assassination of the president or Gabby Giffords or whoever it is, right? We need to be more responsible because there are people out there that are unhinged and we need to give those people guidance. We don't need to inflame them. And that's what it seems like. Not just the press. It happens at Tim Hortons on the corner, right? It happens everywhere.
Yeah.
We need to be better, all of us. And that includes everybody in this country. The hate is out of control. And the hate is what killed this young lady. The hate is what's causing this problem because people believe this nonsense. Go ahead.
I mean, look, this guy, whatever he was involved in overseas and probably in some killings and all that kind of stuff. I mean, look, what he did is, is just insane. I mean, but I think what we have to be careful about is there were a lot of Afghanis helping the U.S. who are entitled to, when we pulled out of there, they were either going to get murdered by the Taliban or, we were giving safe entry here. And so we gave it to a lot of people. And so what I think we have to be careful about, in which the president, I mean, here's a moment, it's not a Democrat or Republican thing. I mean, these two people were shot. It's a tragedy. And, to try to demonize all foreigners and try to, I mean, is dangerous. Now he's, asylum. He's holding off on any decisions for people trying to get asylum or whatever. But these people fought. They put their lives on the line helping the American troops in Afghanistan. They came here. Here's a bad apple. I mean, there's crazy. Look, it's not for the guy in Grand Blanc was a military veteran. He was a Trump supporter. He went to the Mormon church and set it on fire and murdered a bunch of people. We can't take one person and say, oh, watch out, all the military people, be careful with them. It's like one person there, and we can't paint these broad brushes that Trump tries to paint to try to get people riled up against foreigners. This country is made up of a lot of foreigners who have contributed a lot. And I'm whatever first generation here. There's just, this country's made up of a lot of foreigners and who have come here legitimately, have residency, citizenship, whether green cards or whatever. And we have to be careful about that. So.
Well, you know what? I agree with both of you, but I'm with Jim on the point that you have these two very young people who decided to protect and serve. And as a part of their duty, these, and they're kids as far as I'm concerned, okay? They're younger than my children. Gone. It's just ridiculous. And it's even more ridiculous and it's insidious, it's shameful that you have people doing this. Well, it's y'all fault, it's your fault. Hate is not good, period. Okay. And it's really sad, really sad. I'm gonna go to some of our comments. I saw some on there. There are some people who agree with me. They think of the Thanksgiving as I think it was G Money. He says he don't celebrate holidays, but he agrees with me that it's a time where family are getting together. I think it was Jana who said that her family celebrates family and love. And really, that's for me, this whole season from the start of the Thanksgiving or Indigenous People Day, because you have to be politically correct. Somebody will record the show and say, "Well, Vanessa said Happy Thanksgiving. She doesn't like Indians." Somebody will say something like that, but they will. They do stuff like that. Uh, but it's a time where we can sit down as family and get together. A lot of times we don't see each other. I mean, it's a lost art for people to sit down and actually have conversations with family. I know that when you guys grew up, when I grew up, we would eat dinner at the table together. We would talk. If this was done regularly, we had dinner at 5 o'clock. You had to sit and eat dinner. You come home from school, do your homework, then we would sit and eat dinner. But that seems to be a lost art. But when it was time for holidays, everybody's off work. They don't have the pressure trying to hurry up and cook dinner to have it done by 5 o'clock so people could sit down. It's just a wonderful way to fellowship with family and friends. And so I just find it interesting that people have taken it to another level. The same thing with Christmas. I hear people say, well, Christ wasn't born on Christmas Day. I'm not celebrating no Christmas tree. And, they talk, listen, when I will put up a Christmas tree, I haven't put up one in quite some time, but when I will put up a Christmas tree, we wouldn't sit up and talk about the Christmas tree and this is Christ. It was really about love, family, the season of giving, and the celebration of the end of the year and the beginning of a new year. So I just find it also interesting how people are today. I don't remember them being that way when I was growing up, but I see it a lot now.
I think a lot of the holidays, people don't even remember what the origin is. Memorial Day is to commemorate the fallen soldiers who fought for this country. People don't remember. They say Memorial Day. What are we doing? What are we doing for the weekend? The malls have there's barbecues. The malls have sales, whatever. Same thing, Labor Day. People don't, a lot of people don't understand that it's actually to celebrate labor. They're like, what are we doing? Where are we going Labor Day weekend? What are we doing? The holidays are becoming, Christmas is more of, I mean, it's so commercialized now. I mean, it's great to have holidays where people can get together, where people have time off. I mean, this country, when you compare this country to other like European countries, they take more time off. I was in Greece one summer in August, and it's like August is like holiday time where everybody's going away and there's hardly anything open, and people respect leisure time a little bit more in other countries. So whatever time we can push aside to spend with family is great.
So I want to get to a couple comments, if I could, Vanessa, before we.
Sure, absolutely.
These are folks that spend time with us. We appreciate it. Dorian Denard, Facade of America and its distractions aren't resonating anymore. Thank you for that comment. Appreciate it. We're the white poppy, not the red. You don't like my music. Janet, yesterday we ate, talked, watched TV. I lost it. It's moving.
No
yesterday,
phone, no iPhone.
We ate, talked, watched TV, and played games. No iPhone games. It sounds like a perfect day, Janet.
Yeah.
I hope you had a great day. Whatever you
invited me over, Janet.
Americans have lost their compassion for life. Compassion is now based on a political party, Stephanie Jackson. I think there's quite a bit of truth to that, Stephanie.
Absolutely.
We are, I grew up in an Italian family. It was like my cousin Vinny on the weekends, right? Sunday dinner. It was just like everybody, and a lot of times it didn't. I'm sure Allan would be surprised to hear that because I'm pretty go along to get along kind of a guy. But that's how it was. Sometimes you would take the opposite opinion, whether you agreed with it or not. It was kind of like debate class. To marry 5 boys and a parent. So that was the
Nardone boys. Watch out.
It was yeah.
What did Tamara say? Tamara Kim, what did she say?
Black people built this country, but are never given payment. We fought in the Revolutionary War that made America a country and got no thanks for it. Thank you, Tamara. This hate has to stop. And she's absolutely right. Thank you, Tamara, for
that was Tamika.
And I want to just touch on, like my music's point. And the homie has a good point too, but they shouldn't have even been there. Well, we can do that, like my music. I'll tell you, and I'll just briefly talk about my career as a police officer. There's a lot of cars I wish I had never stopped because it turned into lunacy, right? And the policemen and the National Guard, I don't think they're really doing anything there other than be a force. But there's a lot of things we can all look back and say, I wish I hadn't done that, or I wish I hadn't. But I didn't want to point the finger. I don't want to point the finger at the nationality of the guy that did the murder. That's, as Allan pointed out, that's irrelevant. I'm only pointing out the humanity here. We have two young people that followed their assignment, showed up, did what they were supposed to do, and now they're gone. We don't know if they were Democrats. We don't know if they're Republicans. We don't know if they worship Donald Trump or hated him with a passion. And it's irrelevant.
Right.
Jim, you and I agree on that.
Yeah.
But I want to say, and I know you guys are going to give me a little shit for this, but I'd like to, the president doesn't pass up an opportunity. Here's the pardoning the turkeys. And I actually have a little video that.
Today go by the names of Gobble and Waddle. When I first saw their pictures, I thought we should send them, I shouldn't say this. I was going to call them Chuck and Nancy. But then I realized I wouldn't be pardoning them. I would never pardon those two people.
Now, and out of nowhere, took shots at the mayor of Chicago and the governor of Illinois.
The mayor was a low IQ person. The mayor is incompetent, and the governor is a big fat slob.
Happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
I mean, here's an opportunity on a holiday. You have this very fun little thing. You're pardoning the turkeys. And I mean, we need somebody who's going to unite, or at least when the opportunity comes to have some very bipartisan event like the pardoning of the turkey. And, I think that it creates the narrative that's very negative.
Yeah. You know what, guys? I'm going to turn the corner just a little bit. I want to share something with you guys this evening. Last week, I told you guys that I really wasn't feeling the holiday season. And I don't know if I shared with you guys why. And I'm going to bring you to something that just happened. You guys know, because you guys are good friends, but Detroit Black and White audience does not know that, of my parents had 3 children. I'm the only one that's left of my anchors. My nucleus, I'm the only one that's left. And during this holiday period, it was a big deal, especially when I was growing up, because we would all go to my grandparents. Everybody would be there, and we would just have fun. And then as I got older and people transitioned, my mom and I, we would get together, cook together and all that. So, now my oldest son no longer lives here in Michigan. He lives in another state. And then, of course, my youngest son is here, but he has his own life. So anyway, I was like, yeah, I'm just not feeling it. Well, I don't know what this is, but today, about 40 minutes before we went on air, I picked up my phone and I was looking for something, and something told me to go in Messenger. I hardly ever go in Messenger, right? So I'll go in Messenger. And there's this young lady that has left these long paragraphs. And in short, she tells me that her significant other's name is Carmichael Phillips. My deceased brother that passed away, his name was Carmichael Moss. Mm-hmm. And that they were told that Carmichael Phillips was adopted, that his father was Carmichael Moss, my brother, that his mother was a young teenager, and that the relative that adopted Carmichael moved to Cincinnati, Ohio. And she says, we tried to reach out before, was unsuccessful. I understand that Carmichael Moss, your brother, has passed away, but I'd like to get some answers. And I was pretty shaken because she says, I want you to see these pictures. When I tell you, I got nervous. It was like anxiety because these photos, this man looks just like my brother. just like my brother. So when you guys saw me reaching over, that's them texting me to see if we can talk because they want to find out some answers. Now, this young man was born in 1985. I, of course, wasn't home, but I do remember, and this goes to this whole subject matter about fellowshipping with family. It's important for us to know who our family is. I know that my brother, and I'm not making any disparaging comments, my brother was a wild child and he had kids. He started having kids when he was a teenager, but we never knew. He was a very popular guy. The girls liked him and he liked the girls. But it's important that you know who your family members are. So I don't know. I did call Travis before we went on air. That's my oldest son, to tell him about the text message, and I showed him the pictures, and he said, "Mom, that he looks like Uncle Mike, and he looks like you." And I, of course, gave the lawyer answer and said, "Well, yeah, a lot of people look alike, but we need to see what that DNA test look like because the other side of me is people are always scamming. Okay, you never know. But the point that I'm trying to make is that I think it's important, especially during this time. A lot of people want family. I don't think it's strange that I'm feeling, as we say in the streets, I was feeling a way. Okay, I'm feeling a certain kind of way, and I get this messenger from this strange person and these photos of this man that looks just like my brother.
That's kind of exciting and scary at the same time.
Yes, it is. It
kind
is
of exciting in a way, right? You might have a nephew out there that you probably like.
A nephew out there with great nephews.
That would be awesome.
Something if it is, it'd be really exciting to be able to meet them. And when I looked at his profile, he was born in Detroit, Michigan, and it shows that he was raised in Ohio. But that means that he went through the foster care system, and I wonder what kind of life he's lived. You know what I'm saying? Being adopted. That's something else. But anyway, I want to share that with you guys.
Well, that's exciting. It's probably nerve-wracking today. Alan, do you want to go to some of those comments?
Yeah, Dorian said, "Don't get calm, Vanessa. People are using AI now." Thank you, Dorian. I'm glad I did say something about the DNA. I did see that one.
All right, I'll read some here. I'm not sure. I guess I'll just start here. Stephanie Jackson. Family unity has been lost, which equates to lost traditions and fellowship. Kameric Kemet, can you have a show to focus on reparations? Detroit Reparations Task Force just made their determination in crickets from the media. Eric Brown, Stephanie say that, and it is sad how people have come despicable. People all in the name of neither party give a damn about the people. Dorian Denard, when the morale of the country has died, so has society in that country. Remember that, this is You Don't Like My Music, remember that only in America celebrates Thanksgiving Day. Although I thought Canada has some Thanksgiving Day, but not on the same day.
Too.
Yeah, and I thought he's from Canada, right? Toronto?
Yeah, that area, right?
Overall, next time I will, Vanessa. Dorian Denard, I got kicked out of a dealership today because I told an elderly lady to shop around for a better price.
Oh, good.
We need more people like Dorian out there.
Right.
You know, like
you have to go with me when I buy my next vehicle, because I swear I think I overpay for every vehicle that I have now. I'm thinking about buying a new one, but I'm trying to resist. Retail therapy.
You don't like my music, blame Trump, G Money Hollywood. You're right, Allan. The average American PTO is 2.5 weeks per year, while the rest of the world is 5 weeks. Some country standards are set on unlimited PTO. The average American is overworked and underpaid. Amen. You don't like my music? I'm pointing the finger at Trump. You don't like my music? Who put them there? Janet, overall, 2 families are grieving. I'm saddened. Talking about the National Guard members. You don't like my music? Trump doesn't realize Gobble and Waddle were named after him. I like that one. Truce Nationify. Truce
Yeah, true
Sensation.
sensation.
She's our friend. Yeah,
Oh,
she's our good friend.
sensation. And this is why hate is all at an all-time high. You know, like my music was just bad idea. M. Sheila, no class. I think talking about the video we played. You don't like my music? I'm not sure most Americans really understand what's happening. You don't like my music? Hardcore nationalism. You know, interesting. Charles de Gaulle, I think I might have said this last time. Charles de Gaulle said the difference between patriotism is patriots love their country more than themselves. Nationalists hate everyone but themselves. You know, like my music, stop excusing martial law. Daniel Britton, fuck Detroit.
That's for Adolph. Adolph needs to get,
Right.
he's not.
Fuck Detroit. Dorian
Hey, I don't think he would say F Detroit. I
No,
think
he
he would
wouldn't,
say
but
F
he
the
would.
Lions.
Yeah. Fuck the Lions. I said that yesterday. Don't Dorian Denard, don't get conned, Vanessa. People are using AI nowadays. That's I was thinking the same thing, that maybe someone's created some photos, but there's also, you know, it's
So this is my thing though. I think that's a very good point because I could get conned, but I'm like, how did you pick me of all people? You know what
Nah,
I'm saying?
it doesn't sound like it on its face. And you're talking to a guy that was in the business for a long time. There's something going on there, Vanessa, and you got to keep an open mind for
So
sure.
yeah,
I mean, it's
like,
true. I get Dorian's point. I agree,
Yeah.
but it's not like, well, I don't know this. Maybe you have Rockefeller kind of money and they're trying to
He
get a couple
didn't.
of
I mean,
billions,
he
but
didn't.
I doubt it. It
Yeah,
doesn't sound.
you know,
It
I'm
doesn't
very
sound that way.
transparent. Yeah, I'm very transparent. No, my
Yeah.
brother, before he got sick, he was a street guy. He was out in the streets doing his thing.
So they don't really have anything to gain.
Populating the earth.
They don't have anything to gain.
Right. So if I
And-
find out that he is my nephew, it'll be great because I have no nephews. I
That'd
don't
be
know if
great.
you guys
And the
know
legend
that.
Ira Todd's
I have
out
no
there too.
nephews.
Our
Unless
friend
they're,
and
you know, by
God.
yeah.
our friend and legend having a great time watching you guys.
I'm
We're glad
too.
you're out there, Ira. It's good to see you too.
Ira recovering from his hip surgery still.
Oh wow! Listen, let's go to a commercial break, and then we'll come back. Detroit in Black and White, our Friday evenings edition.
Homeownership opportunities are rising in the city of Detroit, and there's a house out there that's right for you and your family. You don't even have to worry about credit or getting a loan. You can win a house for as little as $1,000 and pay for the renovation cost as you go. It all starts at buildingdetroit.org and the Detroit Land Bank Authority. Our auction and Own It Now programs offer a variety of houses and neighborhoods all over the city of Detroit. These homes are in desperate need of repair and new ownership. You can begin by going to our interactive map and detailed property listings to find the right fit for you. It won't be easy, and renovation costs are not cheap, but our compliance team is there every step of the way. We will help you track your progress and connect you with local discounts to save you more money. We have already sold more than 15,000 homes in the city of Detroit, and our inventory is shrinking fast, so you don't want to miss out on this wonderful opportunity. Start your home buying journey today by visiting buildingdetroit.org.
We're back, Detroit in Black and White, our Friday evenings edition. I'm sorry, excuse me. As you guys see, I don't have my glasses on tonight. I only need my glasses for reading, and I can read it on the screen when it's big, but on the side panel, when I have the side panel, sometimes I need my readers, and I just didn't feel like putting them on tonight. So anyway, want to take it, Jim or Allan, because I don't have anything really that I want to talk about today, except for the few things that I did talk about, but
I agree with G Money Hollywood. Campbell needs to quit calling plays and pass the torch back. You pick the offensive coordinator; he should be calling the plays. I agree with that. But I want to go back to something else. I think they're going to miss the playoffs too. I think they're going to be 7-7 here in a minute, G Money, because Dallas is pretty tough and the Rams look pretty good.
I agree. Well, I'm hoping the return of Frank Ragnow, the center, spark some enthusiasm. And I haven't ruled them out, but I certainly wouldn't be shocked if they don't make the playoffs.
And I'm going to say, I'm not going to use the F word. I'm going to use.
You don't care.
I'm going to say bump the Lions.
So I want to go back to Tamari's point about reparations. Maybe I don't know anybody, but do we know anybody that's on a reparations task force?
Well, I know we knew some people that was on the reparations task force. We actually, the person who she was supposed to come on the show and talk about it, but I'm sure when we talk to Adolph, we'll be able to get somebody on the show to talk about reparations. But
yeah, hopefully we can.
I know you had somebody, and some people will say that he was rogue. He wrote up his own. Keith wrote up his own thing about reparations. I don't know what happened with that, but look, I don't know. I have no idea.
I think on a citywide basis, it's going to be awful difficult. I mean, it's a good place. It's ambitious, and I appreciate it, but it needs to be bigger than the city of Detroit to get anything done. That's just my take.
Stephanie says she hopes somebody independent is watching on the reparation task force if money is involved, or it'll end up like the talking about the Riverfront Conservancy.
Yeah,
amen to that. And Eric says it is not a priority for anyone, and that is why you will not see it happen.
Eric, are you talking about on a national basis? So here's the issue: when it's local, people can have all the best intentions in the world, but if they don't have the resources to make it happen, it's not going to happen. It's got to be a bigger. It's got to be more
federal. It's got to be federal. I mean, the money that we're talking. I mean, there's money. Obviously, we always say there's no money federally, but we're sending $40 billion to Argentina, and so there is
billion, right?
I'm sorry,
billion, right? Billion.
Yeah, 40 billion. Yeah. And so obviously there's some money there. We just have to figure out where it's at and what it looks like. I haven't seen I didn't notice there was a report out. I'd be curious to look at it and write about it.
What's irritating for me though, it's just so interesting to me that everybody can get money, but when Black folks are talking about reparations, it's always, well, they should. It's not always. Those that say that there should be reparations, they're saying it because it sounds correct politically, but they're really not going to do anything about it. And there's always some kind of, well, if you do it, then it should be tied to education. If you do, but you don't have that conversation about anybody else. And we're talking about Black Americans. We're not talking about people who are coming here we're talking about Black Americans.
But here's the answer, Vanessa. This is what I think. And
it irritates my soul that whenever there's this conversation, all it is conversation. It's ridiculous. Go ahead.
But here's how they do it. This is what they do, right? I was a pension representative for a few years, and it wasn't a huge pension. It was like whatever, $50, $100 million, whatever it was. There is money out there, right? So it needs to be a private-public partnership. They need to peel money off from the earnings of if this is the plan from Microsoft and General Motors. That's how they could make any process work. Turn it into a pension-like system. I'm not advocating or against or what. My point is, more people need to be involved. It needs to be a global process.
An example
that can't get it done.
Right. I'm gonna give an example. You got all these private companies building this whole ballroom on the White House, like you said, private and public put together. But when you talk about reparations, no.
And our people,
I'm talking about for real. They may have the conversation. Well, yeah, that's a good idea, but no action behind it or anything. So it's very irritating to me. And I agree, Dorian. No, neither party's interested in reparations. We're not big enough of a voting block. Okay.
And Virgil, tell us exactly what you mean. Bullshit. What's your point? Give them real estate is what you don't like my music is. But there's, when he talks about real estate, I talk about real estate investment trust, right? Which is a market issue. So there's money out there. These real estate companies have all this money that they're making and giving it back to their shareholders in a real estate investment trust, both private and public. So there's all kinds of ways to get money for, Detroit went out and said, we're going to put some casinos in there. We're going to peel off the money from the casinos, right? There's all kinds of methods, but nobody really has the interest. I think Eric may be right on a national basis.
Petition.
Well, I think one of the problems with reparations is that there isn't a clear vision what that looks like. And I haven't seen the report, but I think it's you have to start somewhere, and until there's some agreed upon vision of what that is, and then financially figuring out where that money will come from and stuff. But we've had it. I mean, it was 4 years ago on the ballot, and it's still not even really a real thing.
Yeah, which is interesting because one of the people that was running for mayor of the city of Detroit, it was a big thing. He was all over the news and everything else. And I'm surprised we didn't hear it when they were running for mayor of the city of Detroit. I'm surprised it wasn't part of the platform. Maybe it was. I don't recall hearing it. But it just sounds like, again, I liken it to, and maybe because I'm feeling a certain kind of way this time of year, but I liken it to people talk about affordable housing, word salad. It sounds.
And you don't like my music's talking about private equity and foreign investment for housing, and we know why they want our homes, but it's going to bite them in the backside. You don't like my music because if you can predict real estate, it's going to go. They want your house because they can make money off of it. That's how business made money. It's a little frightening to think that these private companies are buying individual homes. I was more talking about investment buildings and retail buildings and factories and those kind of things. But you make a good point.
Jim, I do want to ask you, because the other day I wasn't familiar with the story with the shooting down there in Trenton. It looked like the young man that was he was young. The young man that was killed. Am I correct?
37. What's sad is I ran by there 30 feet from his front door. That's an apartment right across the street from here, less than a half a mile from where I live. And I was there earlier that day on my run. And it's tragic. When I ran by there on Thanksgiving morning, we always want to talk about the bad guys and the good guys, but when I ran by, I could not help but feel hurt inside to think about his mother inside that apartment there as I ran by there, having the worst day of her life on Thanksgiving. It's tragic. If he did what he did, it's unfortunate, and I feel bad for the police officers that had to take this young man's life, and I feel bad for the family and the young man too. You can't help it.
Right. Yeah.
And he apparently got into a shooting at a gentleman's club in Inkster, which is 10 miles from here, and he lived here with his mother in an apartment, and it didn't end well, sadly for everybody.
Yeah, I will say, and that's not because I haven't been to Trenton. I've been to Trenton, but I was surprised to see some residents that has the same color skin that I have that live in Trenton.
Oh, there's plenty. In fact, my neighbor is
okay. I was like, oh, okay.
House across the street from me.
And, I've come down there. We've gone to Ramsey's to eat, and I had not, even the restaurant next door, when I've gone next door to eat, I would be the only brown person in there. So I was like, wait a minute.
You need to come down here more.
She lived near the Browns.
Plenty of African-American families, Trenton and Brownstown and Wyandotte and Riverview.
Right.
Somebody is asking why there's not a Chinatown district. There was a Chinatown district. We've got the Peterborough over there, which is an Asian themed restaurant. We've got the Chung's at the corner there at Peterborough and Cass. A developer has taken the building and wants to have 3 Asian restaurants in there, and I've written about it.
So is there really a town? I'm
always. It used to be. It's not. It's really a block. Peterborough.
Exactly.
They're trying to create. It's like Greektown. Is Greektown?
It's not going to be like Washington D.C. or New York City for sure.
No, it's not. But I mean, they're trying to get 3 Asian restaurants, and I checked several months ago, and they still hadn't gotten any tenants to go in there. Which I would love to see more Asian restaurants in the city of Detroit. There's not, particularly downtown, there's really not much there. So.
And Par Orgs is weighing in. Our old friend Par, thanks for tuning in. Allan, he said you're incorrect as Johnny Cochran, the late great Johnny Cochran, told you what reparations should look like. And Dorian said Trenton is a mixed community because of the old Chrysler plant. Well, there's a new Chrysler plant there, probably about 10 or 15 years old, Dorian. And yeah, it's quite of a mixed a lot of different families down here. So.
Oh, I'm happy to hear that.
Go Trenton.
Right, go Trenton, where Allan has never visited, but
I'm relocated. I'm from Taylor, so Taylor was,
right, now but he's been on the east side.
Your son lived in Taylor, right, Vanessa?
He was living in that's where
Oh, I thought you said
Allen Road. What is that? Allen Road and
yes. Well, it could be Allen. It could be Allen Park. Could be Taylor. Could be Dearborn Heights. Could be.
It wasn't Dearborn Heights. It was not Allen Park. So it must have been.
I think you told me.
I had a dermatologist from Henry Ford that was located in Taylor. I went out there a couple times. So.
Yep, they called Taylor Tucky.
Taylor Tucky.
Right. So, so I know tomorrow we're supposed to have some bad weather tomorrow, so people are saying. But I just say it's just the first day of snow. We'll get through it. But Saturday, you guys should have a fun show. I won't be joining you guys tomorrow, but it'll be 3 people on the show tomorrow, right?
Yeah.
Okay, great.
If we get Allan out of bed to come down there to
yes,
the
Janet,
we're going to have. Go ahead. Tell us what's going on.
It was Southgate. Yes, it was Southgate. I'm like, it was.
Tell our friends out there why tomorrow will be a good day to watch, and you're not going to be there.
Okay, so tomorrow will be a good day to watch because we will have Detroit in black and white. It'll be live from the Guardian Building, and Adolph will be joining the crew tomorrow. I won't be there tomorrow because we talked about this the other day. A girl has to get beautiful, and so I couldn't go get my hair done today because today is the day after the holiday.
You're going to get beautiful to get snowed in.
I'm going to go get beautiful. Yeah, I got to go
get snowed in.
I got to go get beautiful, and so my appointment runs. I won't be done in enough time to get there at 10 o'clock, so that's why I won't be there tomorrow.
It's going to be an exciting show. We're glad to have Adolph back.
Yeah.
He's undergoing he's busy. He's doing a lot of stuff medically and good stuff, but he's going to be there. He wants to be there. He's got his fever going there to get back on the show. So we can't wait to see him tomorrow.
She says she's late. She'll be watching. Thank you so much. And listen, I want to remind everybody, if you are watching Detroit in black and white, like, subscribe, and share. Tell all your friends about the greatest show on these YouTube streets, right? Come back and join us tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock. And I promise you, my little, because I'm usually much more excited, I'll get there. It's just that, this, like I said, I'm struggling this holiday season. But at any rate, I love you all. Eastside Al, Jim, of course, my dog, Mr. Adolph Mongo. And guess what? We love all of you. Lady T, thank you so much for supporting us. Thank you for showing up every Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday. You all have a good night. I'll see you guys next week. Peace.